Hello, welcome to Vivi's Book Club. If you like masks, suits, heists, and unhinged characters, this is the interactive fiction for you. So let's start with what is interactive fiction. Interactive fiction is a type of choose-your-own adventure story. If you're familiar with visual novels, it sort of follows the same formula, the same structure, except there are no graphics, there are no voices, it's completely text-based. So I like to think it as half novel, half role-playing game. Interactive fiction as an idea is not new. The first iteration of it is around 1960s and the 1970s, with titles like Zork, Trinity, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and A Mind Forever Voyaging. It's not a very new idea, but I think it has been more popular recently. I learned about interactive fiction during the quarantine, early 2020, I think. I first found it on Discord servers. People started mentioning it. There are also physical interactive fiction novels, kind of like this one. It's My Lady's Choosing, an interactive romance novel by Kitty Curran and Larissa Zagaris. So basically, you have, the narration, and then at the bottom you'll have options. It says, if death would be no worse and you wish to fight the brigands immediately, turn to page 173. Or the other option, in fact, now that you think on it, death would probably be worse and you wish to focus on not being dead for the time being, turn to page 290. So yeah, there's that physical copy version. The interactive fiction I'll be talking about in my channel is more of the digital format. I will be talking about the titles from Choice of Games. Choice of Games is the world's largest publishing house for interactive novels. Our award-winning games are entirely text-based, hundreds of thousands of words and hundreds of choices without graphics or sound effects, and fueled by the vast, unstoppable power of your imagination. Choose your path. Your choices control the story. Since 2010, we've published more than 150 interactive novels on Steam, Web, and our Choice of Games app for iPhone and Android, including multiple nominees for the SFWA Nebula Award. We publish more than a dozen games a year, and we continue to expand our back catalog of older games, which we make available for free to all readers. Using Choice Script, the scripting language we've created for developing interactive novels, an individual author can write a full-length, branching narrative, hundreds of thousands of words long, all in a single voice, under one creative vision. A player might read around 20% of those words on one playthrough, ensuring that our games remain fresh each time we play. Choice of Games is a progressive, feminist, anti-racist, trans-inclusive, sex-positive company. All COG games allow you to choose your character's gender and sexual orientation. True to the About Us page, interactive fiction is probably the most versatile storytelling medium. Sometimes if you've been reading the novel or playing the game for a while, there are still scenarios that are new because of the mix of choices that you make. So, that's the introduction for what interactive fiction is. Let's move on to the book or game that I'm talking about today, which is Breach the Archangel Job. So I'm just gonna read the description of Breach the Archangel Job as posted on Steam. Join the Archangels on their bloody campaign against the Chicago Mafia to take them down by any means necessary. Play as a criminal vigilante alongside them, or play as an informant and secretly work against them. Roll the dice and survive the deadly consequences of your actions. Breach the Archangel Job is a thrilling interactive crime novel by Michael Maxwell and Ben Luigi, where your choices control the story. Explore the rich background and personalities of your motley crew of international criminals as you wage a war against the mafia throughout the game. With the randomized dice system, no gameplay will ever be the same, and your skills are half of what you need. To survive in this world, you're also going to need luck. Good luck. The randomized fate and destiny awaits you. Play as male, female, trans, or non-binary, gay, straight, bisexual, or asexual. Romance more than 10 characters with their own different backgrounds and personalities. Plan and execute 2 critical and meticulous heists. Scale down the side of a high-riser after a daring kidnapping. Explore the underground black market hidden under a church. Customize your player's appearance, gear, and weaponry. Survive a deadly FBI raid. Become Chicago's most wanted criminal, vigilante hero, or betray your crew as an informant. It's mature content. It has descriptions of violence, gore, torture, off-color jokes. So if you're familiar with the humor of Deadpool, it's a bit like that. For this interactive fiction, I'm gonna do the review and recap differently because there's just a lot of variables going on. This is actually my third time recording this. The first time it got really messy because I tried to do a full summary of the plot, but yeah, because of the variables and the branching, it became super confusing. The second time I tried to tone it down, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't linear enough. So hopefully third time's the charm. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about the overarching plot. I'm not gonna go into the choices that much, but yeah, let's get to it. As the description says, you are a criminal. Your character is a small-time criminal doing petty crimes. The book opens with you in a car with 3 other people. You are about to do a can opener job, meaning you are about to rob a convenience store. It is the 4th of July. You're waiting for the right time. You don't know the other people with you. You just know them by their call names. We have a Smiley, a Shoddy, Chains, and Leadfoot. So Smiley is your crowd control. They are persuasive or intimidating. Basically, you handle the crowd. There is the Shoddy, which is your gunner. They are the ones in charge of the weapons and also kind of controlling the crowd, but mostly through intimidation. You have the Leadfoot, which is the getaway person, the driver, and the Chains is the engineer or the safecracker, your lockpicker, anything that has to do with breaking into something. So you have the option to choose among the 4, like what your role is. The only difference here for now is if you choose to be a Leadfoot, the driver, you stay in the car, you don't go into the store. So this is just the beginning, a tutorial section, but you already see a branching of the narrative here. Anyway, so you are a petty criminal. You're about to do this can opener job. The leader of the group is called the Picard, and he is the only person that you know the name of. So the Picard, the leader of this crew, is called Caden Joy. So you met Caden Joy through your best friend, Mouse. Mouse is your partner in crime, literally. They are your best friend since high school, and they are also sort of your criminal agent. They referred you to Caden to do this job. So this can opener job, it's fairly simple, but it has a lot of loot because it is a money laundering front. So you go inside, you do your thing, whatever role you chose. Okay, I'm just gonna do an example of how varied the scenes could be. So if you are Chains, you go inside, go to the back room, you knock out the manager, you stay in that back room as you crack open the safe. If you are the Leadfoot, of course, you stay in the car. You don't go in at all. If you're the Smiley, you go to the back with the Chains and deal with the manager, and then you go back to the front of the store. The Shoddy, the gunner, stays at the front of the store to basically put the cashier on hostage. Very, very different scenes, and it's just the beginning. So while you're in the front and trying to deal with the cashier, police car comes up. So if you are the Leadfoot, if you stayed outside, you see the police come in, you can choose to keep the mask on and hide, or you can choose to remove the mask and act casual, or you can... I believe you can run away. I'm not sorry, it's been a while since I played it, but there are several options that you can choose there, and depending on the option that you choose, the heist could go either very, very well, kind of well, or very, very bad. If you chose one of the roles that go inside the convenience store, you see the police people coming in. As a Smiley, you have a choice to either hide everyone in the back room, take the cashier's place, or you can pretend to be a customer. Again, many different choices, and depending on what you choose, the outcome is different. This one scene, it can end several ways. It can end very, very well. You get all the loot. The police doesn't suspect anything, and everyone in the crew survives. You get this sort of okay ending where you get the loot. Maybe there was a confrontation with the police, but no one was injured, and you were able to get away. There's the kind of bad ending, which is there was a confrontation with the police. Maybe some of your crew died. Maybe you didn't get all the loot. And then there's the worst ending, which is there was a confrontation with the police. Some of your crew died, maybe all of them, and you probably still got a bit of loot. So the worst ending here is it's just you and Kaden, the leader, survive. So again, many different endings, and it's just one scene. Anyway, let's assume that everything went well. The police moves on and you continue robbing the place. You drive off, there's no police, you got all the loot, everyone survived. You got paid about, it's a high number, it's a good day for you. So you go back to your apartment where Mouse is waiting for you. So you have choices. You can choose a female mouse or a male mouse. So female mouse is Evelyn Sommerfield and male mouse is Edwin Carmichael. They're both mouses but they are two different characters. They are two different people. So it's not just the gender that changes. Some interactions maybe are sort of the same, but there are differences between the characters. I'm not going to go deep into that because, again, it's going to be too much, too long. We'll keep it gender neutral for now. So Mouse is there waiting for you to make sure you are safe and waiting for the cut. Because Mouse referred you to this job, they get a cut. So any job that you take, Mouse gets a bit of a cut. I think 10%. Mouse asks for an additional money because they need the extra cash, and you can choose to say sure, why not. You can choose to say no. This affects their relationship to you. If you're nice to Mouse, or if you do something that's agreeable to their character, then you get more relationship approval. If you're familiar with Dragon Age, Morgan disapproves, Alistair approves, that kind of thing. It's something like that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, so Breach differs from other choice of games novels because it implements a dice roll like Dungeons and Dragons. Baldur's Gate 3, you have to roll the dice. Whatever the skill check that you need to pass, it's automatically a fail if you roll a 1. If you roll a 20, it's automatically a pass. For example, in the can opener job, if you want to persuade the policeman that you are a shopper, basically you lie. For lying convincingly, let's say you need a 10. You get your skills from persuasion, I think intelligence as well, persuasion, whatever your skill is, plus the dice roll. So you add those numbers. If the sum of your skills and the dice roll is more than 10, then your lie is successful. You convince the police person. If you rolled lower than 10, then something goes wrong. If you rolled a 1, automatically you get the worst scenario. If you roll a 20, automatically you get the best outcome. That's the dice roll in a nutshell. You can turn it off, which makes your skill set much more important. It's a bit harder as well to get a success on the checks, but I'm not sure how the math works with that one. But my experience is it's a bit harder. So the next morning you build your character. Basically, you get your name, you get your physical traits, hair color, hairstyle, your physique for the face, like the type of face and your physique. It actually impacts your skills. For example, if you chose to have a muscular body, that adds strength points. If you chose to have an athletic lean build, that adds to agility, I believe. If you choose to be just an average person, you'll get incognito points. And your face, if you have an intimidating face, of course you'll get intimidating points. If you have this regal, sophisticated face, you get persuasion points. If you're just a normal face, easily forgotten, you get incognito points. Okay, so that's the idea of building your character. So you wake up, you realize you don't have food, you have a cereal in your fridge, and so you decide to go to the grocery store. You go out, you see a vintage car, it's fancy in a gaudy way. You can choose to steal it or you can choose to leave it alone. You go to the convenience store and it's run by Al. Al knows your name. He calls you by title, last name, so Miss blah blah blah, Mr. blah blah blah, and you call him Al. Al's store has been robbed like several times in the past few months, but recently he got help from someone and now nobody messes with Al. Okay, you get your food, you're ringing it up, and then a robbery happens. So there is a guy behind you pointing a gun at your head. You can choose to do nothing or you can choose to disarm the person. Okay, let's say you're successful, you disarm the person, Al pops up behind the counter with a shotgun. Because, yeah, Al is not like other shopkeepers. Anyway, if you help restrain the robber, then Al will give you the groceries for free. So you go out and it's early in the day. You can go to the bar or you can decide to go visit Mouse, who is working at a flower shop. Either you go to the bar or go to visit Mouse. You notice a van following you. It is a flower delivery van. It keeps pace with you. If you speed up, they speed up as well. So you suspect that they're following you. You call Mouse. Mouse says, don't come to my store because some people are looking for you. And you can choose to say, yeah, I notice. You can ask Mouse if they got a flower delivery van because they're the only flower shop in the area, and they say no, because they only deliver by bike. So now you definitely know that that van is following you. Before you can flee to Mouse's safe house, the van pulls up, a man with the glasses comes out, and they tell you to freeze. You can either run or comply. If you stole the car, that means you drive away. You can crash into things. But if you did not steal the car, you just run and you give the people a chase. In one of the scenes, if you took the car, if you rolled a 1, a critical fail, I think you crash into something and a police officer comes and they find a dead body inside your trunk. And you can either comply and let them take you to jail, or you can run, in which case you can be shot dead. I found this out after several playthroughs. I restarted the game maybe twice by then. But yeah, I got that critical one, and if you die, you get taken back to the last checkpoint, which is usually the start of the chapter. Whether you run or give up, you are taken to the police station. They tackle you to the ground. They put a sack over your head. They put a noise-canceling headphones on you. When they take those off, you are inside an interrogation room at the precinct. The captain of the precinct is there. If you chose an undercover background, the captain of the precinct tells you, hey, we are pulling you for an undercover job. The FBI wants to work with you. If you chose to be a vigilante or a hardened criminal, the captain says, whatever you did, you're screwed because the FBI are after you. Yeah, you choose your background at the beginning, I think, when you are preparing for the can opener heist. You can choose vigilante, hardened criminal, or undercover. After the captain tells you that the FBI are looking for you, he goes out and in comes two FBI agents. One is the guy with the glasses, with the suit, and the other is the woman with the FBI vest. So the man sits down and says, you're screwed. So this man is Special Agent Anthony Reveal. He is the lead agent of this case. House is his second in command. Anthony wants information about the job that you did the other night. You can either choose to be silent, you can choose to lie, or you can choose to tell the truth. Okay, but basically Anthony needs information because they are after Kate and Joy. They are after Kate and Joy because the FBI are trying to take down the Archangels. So the Archangels is a organized criminal group who builds a reputation in New York. The story opens in New York, okay? The Archangels are infamous in New York because they took down the 5 families in one swoop. So now, instead of the 5 families, the Archangels control New York. The FBI made them one of their biggest cases. Special Agent Anthony Reveal is the agent who handles the Archangel case. So they know that Hayden is involved with the Archangels at one point, and because you are now associated with Caden, they are after you as well. They want information from you. Oh yeah, after the can opener job, Caden gives you a gun, and when the FBI catches you, they find the gun. They can trace it back to Caden, and that's one of the proof they have that you and Caden were in contact. They also have CCTV images, which you point out that it's weird because Mouse was supposed to erase the data. They're not supposed to have that image, and yet they do. So they do have a solid case against you, and Anthony tries to convince you to tell them everything that they want. So again, you can choose to tell them the truth, you can choose to lie, or you can choose to remain silent. Either way, at the end of it, Anthony leaves and you are taken to a cell for holding where you wait for whatever comes next. Either they send you to prison, or if you are undercover, you're just there waiting for the next step of the FBI recruiting you. So you're in the cell, you're alone, there's no one in the precinct. You've been waiting a while, and then a guard comes in with another prisoner. You notice that he is tall, muscular, and blonde. When he comes in, he looks at you. They place him in the cell next to yours, and then the guard comes for you and says, "Come here, I'll take your handcuffs off." You can either choose to go, to stand up and go to the bars, or you can choose to sit down. If you choose to remain sitting, the guard comes inside. So as this is going on, as the guard removes your handcuffs, the other prisoner starts counting down in Swedish. If you chose a smiley, like crowd control, that gives you a point for, I don't know exactly what skill set it contributes to, but you can recognize foreign languages. Sometimes you can even mimic the accent, or you can straight up speak or understand the foreign language. In this case, you notice that the other prisoner has a Swedish accent. While the guard removes your cuffs, the prisoner starts counting down in Swedish. 3, 2, 1. The lights go off. You can either knock out the guard or just push him and run out of the cell and lock the guard inside. You are out of the cell. You are not in handcuffs anymore. And you see your neighbor prisoner is also out of the cell. And they tell you he is your escape buddy. So this tall, blonde, muscular man introduces himself as Kaz. He hands you a device which you put in your ear, and you hear Mouse's voice. So Mouse tells you that when they knew someone was out to get you, Mouse thought that you were taken by traffickers. And then Mouse realizes that it's actually the FBI who are after you, and that's when they panicked. And they called Caden, because Caden is the person that they know who can help you. Caden calls his friends. You probably can guess who the friends are. You can ask Mouse who are these friends that are helping us. And Mouse just says, "You'll like them." You have Mouse talking to you through the earpiece, Kaz guiding you to your escape route. There are several ways to escape the precinct. You can go through the sewers. You can go to the main floor and sneak out. You can drive a police car from the garage, or you can even walk out the front door. Walking out the front door gives you an achievement. It's called Like a Boss. There are specific scenes that if you get it, or if you succeed in doing something, you get an achievement. Once you're out, like whatever route you took, once you're out, you are met with two people in two-piece suits. The woman has like auburn hair, blue eyes. The young man is like a thin, very blue-eyed, red-haired. No, they're ginger. They introduce themselves as Uriel and Sariel. So Uriel is the woman, Sariel is the young man. They drive you to a warehouse. On the way, you pick up a person. They are in a gray baggy hoodie. You can't really tell if they're male or female at first. The others with you, Uriel, Sariel, and Kaz, call this person Raquel. And you find out she goes by she, her. You can either keep silent or ask questions. No one really gives you a straight answer. If you ask where Mouse is, they tell you they're fine. You'll meet them soon. They ask if you took weapons from the precinct. You can lie and say, "No, I didn't." And they'll point a gun at you. Let's fast forward. They take you to the warehouse. As soon as they drop you off, they leave. Mouse comes running to greet you. You can either let them hug you, hug them back, or not hug at all. Again, if you hug them, that will give you more relationship points with them. That's important because if you want to pursue a romance with some of the characters, you need to have a certain amount of approval, or you need to really have very high persuasion. So again, kind of like Dragon Age. If the characters don't really like you, then you can't even start a romance unless you have super high persuasion. You are reunited with Mouse. Mouse explains again how they found you. When they found out that you were taken by the FBI, they panicked. They called Cade and Joy. Cade and Joy called his friends, and his friends turned out to be the Archangels. As if on cue, a man comes in. He is in a three-piece suit. He has a white hockey mask on with a red smiley painted on it. He introduces himself as Gabriel. So in this warehouse, there is a breakfast table complete with a waiter with a fake French accent. So you guys can order and actually eat breakfast. The only person who is not eating is Gabriel. Technically, you can choose to not eat as well, but why would you not eat? You talk with Gabriel. You get to ask him questions. Gabriel tells you that Caden mentioned you and Caden kind of praised you. Depending on your role, Caden gave a different praise. So for example, if you chose to be a smiley, a crowd control, that gives you high persuasion. So Caden says you have a silver tongue. Gabriel says that Caden thought highly of you, thought you did a really good job at the can opener job, and they want to offer you a position. In like a show of intimidation, probably showing off, Gabriel tells you your address. He tells you your security number. In Canada, we call it the social insurance number, SIN. So whatever the American version of that is, he knows that. He knows your password. He tells you that one of your security questions is like, what's the name of your cat or something? And you put a different name, but he knows your cat's name is Bounce-A-Lot, something like that. He knows that when you were in foster care, one of the pet cats that you own followed you when you left the foster care. So basically, he shows off that he knows a lot about you. He also knows a lot about Mouse. You're a bit surprised, you're shocked, and Caden says he has it all written out in the napkin. Sure enough, all the information there is written on a napkin. Gabriel says he knows a lot of people who can get a lot of information for him. After that, Gabriel admits that all of this is because he wants to offer you a position in the Archangels. So the game doesn't let you refuse, really. It is sort of a fake choice. But then if you refuse, the game ends there. You rationalize this. If you don't join the Archangels, you'll be hunted down by the FBI, and you can't really survive on your own with the FBI after you. So you join the Archangels. You shake hands with Gabriel. That gives you additional points with him. He gives you a whole bank account, new pair of clothes. He gives you a bonus. He actually gives you 1,000. So it's a pretty sweet deal. And then he tells you that now they have to take you out of New York. You are about to go to Chicago. So let's start with the overall review. As you might have guessed from the change in the setup, I recorded this later and I decided to do the summary first. I usually do it at the end, but now I think it makes sense to do the non-spoilery overall review first and then going into the plot at the later half of the video. So let's start with the characters. For me, the characters are 5 out of 5. I think the characters are the strongest asset to Breach. We have enough complexity, they have mystery, and they're very engaging. We have the main trio, the leader of the Archangels, who are this anonymous group of people. They have masks on, they have fake names, they have this mysterious past that it's hinted by their actions and by the other characters around them. You can see that they're this highly skilled people that are after the Chicago outfit. You don't really know their motivations, but you can kind of feel that they are up to something. They don't give you a direct answer to that. So I think it is compelling to read about them, like to know more about them, just to know why they're doing this, who they actually are, and what your role is within the Archangels and within the plot. The main character, your character, is also a bit mysterious. You are an orphan. You can choose how you grew up, if you went from foster home to foster home, or if you managed to find a good foster family. That's your choice. But the basic background for the main character, your character, is that you are an orphan. Somewhere along the way, you started doing petty crime. It's a bit subtle in book 1, but there is a plot point about your parents. This can come up during conversations with Gabriel, and it does connect to the greater plot of the series. And then we have, of course, characters like Rook and Bishop, who are very eccentric. They're mysterious in a psychological way, like you don't know what's going on in their minds. They are a bit of comic relief, but at the same time they do have character aspects of them that are a bit darker, that are a bit serious. I think it's a nice blend of that humor plus depth. And then of course you have the crew, the Archangel crew. lots of different personalities within that. So I think for the main group of Archangels, you have the trio. You have you and Kaden, the two leaders, and then you have two Sariels, two Uriels, and two Remiels, plus Mouse. So there's 12 of you, 12 main Archangel members. I think that's a big group for an interactive fiction. It's an ensemble cast, definitely. It gets divided later on, but essentially your character would be interacting with 11 people. And I think for an interactive fiction, that's more than usual. For visual novels as well, like the dating sims and stuff like that, you have what, 6 at least? 5 to 6 or 8 romantic interests for dating sims, and then you just basically interact with them, plus, some 2 or 3 side characters. But this one, you interact with the base 11 people in your crew, plus the other factions as well. And of course, we have the other faction, which is the FBI. They have their own set of crew, which you would get to know more in the second book. But basically, you have Special Agent Anthony Reville, the main agent that is one of the antagonists of the Archangels. Yeah, so there's a whole task force, or there's another whole group of characters that, again, different personalities, they bring different things to the table. Whoever you choose to hang out with, they give flavor to each playthrough, because sometimes you are supposed to choose who you're hanging out with. So you might hang out with character 1, but you won't get to hang out with character B. It gives you different flavors each time you play depending on your choices. So all that to say that the Breach Archangel Job characters are distinct. They have their own motivations, they have their own stories, they are mysterious in their own ways, they are comedic in their own ways. I think it does a really good job to blend seriousness and humor, and then adding mystery as well. 5 out of 5. It's the main draw for me. The second draw for Breach is the world building and the lore. So from the beginning, it would seem like the world building is not that different from real life, like contemporary. But then as you go along, you'd start to see there's a bit differences here and there. There are secret societies, like secret groups in that universe, and some of them come into play. You interact with them. Maybe some of them are even directly related to the overarching plot of the series, which for me is very interesting. I'd want to know more about those secret societies, like what's actually going on. The writing could be better, I think. I'd say I'll rate it maybe 3.5. It is funny, it is enjoyable. I just think it could be refined a bit more, but at the same time, because of the nature of the game, like the mood, it doesn't really need sophisticated language. But I think the writing could definitely be polished more, especially when we have paragraph splits. This isn't linear, it's interactive fiction, so there are parts where you can sort of see where one paragraph correlates to one choice. It's like a puzzle, like which choices fit with each other depending on your choices. For example, if paragraph 1 is attached to option A, then paragraph 2 is attached to option B, each choice and each paragraph would be organized in a certain way. When it's written, I would assume that each paragraph has to stand on its own. So when you combine choice 1 and choice C, there are chances that some words or some phrases, some sentences would repeat, like the idea would repeat, because you have to establish one idea here, establish the same idea here, in case the players would choose different choices. But in the case that somehow the choices would allow those two paragraphs to come one after another, then that's when the ideas kind of repeat. I hope I explained that properly. I don't know how you would smoothen that out, because yeah, it is very non-linear. A lot of it depends on the players and you can't really predict. I guess it's not technically a flaw of the writing, because that's just the nature of interactive fiction, but maybe the phrasing could be more smooth, I guess. I'm not technically counting that when rating, just something to note. But yeah, there are also like punctuation errors there, or missing punctuations, maybe some clunky dialogue here and there, but overall it did not distract, or it did not break immersion. I still enjoyed it. I was able to still, focus on the plot and actually enjoy the ride and be engaged with it. I think because this is interactive fiction, I'm giving it leeway. It's not linear traditional writing. I have to adjust my review of it, basically. I'm a fan of romance. I love romances, and this book gives you 10 options? No, 11. No. 10 options. Yeah, it gives you 10 options. Basically, you can pursue a romance with any of the Archangel crew except Michael, because Michael will come in the second book, but yeah, basically in book 1, you can pursue romance with any of your crew members, and I think that itself encourages replayability. If you want to know, oh no, 11 romances, because there's Rook. Anyway, if you want to try all of the romances, then definitely you have to play the game at least 11 times. And then for Gabriel, there are other romance flavors as well, because not just Gabriel, actually, for all of them, there's 2 split endings for the romances, so 22 times, play the game 22 times. And then of course we have the mechanics of the game. We have a dice roll system, so some scenes could be unpredictable. You could play the game 5 times and not get everything, not see every scene. And I know in book 2 it basically becomes 2 games in 1 because of how book 1 ends. There's a choice that branches the narrative into 2. So yeah, book 2 is even bigger. It's basically 2 games in 1. Kudos to Michael Maxwell for writing the Breach series, because I think among the interactive fiction that I've played or that I've heard my friends played, I think Breach is one of the biggest in terms of branching, in terms of number of cast, and just the amount of variables that it has to take into account. So yeah, kudos to Max. Yeah, so overall for me, Breach is a 5-star interactive fiction. It's one of my favorites. I do love it. I love the characters. I would love to know more about the world. There are hints here and there, and there are mysteries that I'd want to uncover. So yeah, what else? Oh yeah, one more thing, because we do have secret identities here. You can choose to find out Gabriel's identity. It is a thing that you can do, or not. You can choose to not care, but it is an option, and that part was very intriguing. It serves like as a hook, adding to that mystery, adding to the engagement in terms of like making players want to know more, piquing interest basically. So yeah, that's the overall summary of the review. Let's go to the spoiler section. Let's fast forward. You arrive in Chicago. You have a fake identity now. You have new IDs courtesy of Gabriel. Fake last name is Jones. Mouse's fake last name is Free. Arriving at the airport, you see 2 people holding your fake names. You approach them. They introduce themselves as Uriel and Sariel. This new Uriel and Sariel tell you that they're not supposed to give you their names yet. And then you name drop Kaz, and they have this reaction like, oh no, he's not supposed to do that. He's gonna get chewed out by Gabriel. So anyway, Sariel and Uriel are code names. Uriel is code name for the chains, safecracker, lockpicker, hacker. The Sariel is the driver. So you've met 2 sets of Sariels and Uriels now. I'll get to Kaz later on. Anyway, they drive you to the apartment. The apartment is paid by Gabriel. You don't have to worry about rent. The building is also kind of under Gabriel's pocket. Anyway, you and Mouse have your rooms picked out. Like there's a name taped to each room. So they gave you specific rooms. Find a briefcase there with instructions, with weapons as well. You see that the pistol that Kaden gave you is back there. A note from Gabriel says they found it. They found it from the evidence locker and took it. You have a blank hockey mask, and along with the note it says you have to go to this church, bring this mask, and they are expecting you. There's also instructions to burn the letter afterward. Along all of that, you have your things that you left in New York. So someone took your things from New York and put it in the new apartment in Chicago. You're getting like a VIP treatment from the Archangels here. You wait for evening to come and you go to this church, and the church is the location for black market. So there's this guy named Father Gregory Murdoch. He runs the biggest black market in Chicago. He supplies the mafia, the outfit. He supplies all the minor gangs in Chicago. And he does this under the church. There's armory, there is a garage with a lot of type of vehicles. There are nuns carrying guns, choir boys making ammunition. So you are taken to the office where you meet this person. He has his feet up on the desk, he's on the phone, and you tell him you're looking for Father Murdoch. He says, that's me. Father Murdoch is this flamboyant black market dealer priest. He is an actual priest. He also donates a lot for charity. And yeah, so you get a chance to talk to him. Just ask what his services are, like what he sells. You tell Father Murdoch that you are sent by the Archangels, and he knows what to do. You are fitted with a uniform, which is a two-piece suit, white shirt, the black jacket, blue tie, and you have a choice for the bottoms. You can customize it. For the mask, the hockey mask, you can choose to design it from like pre-made designs, or you can choose your custom design. So that's the inspiration for this mask. So this is the mask that I designed for my character. So you're chatting with Father Murdoch, it's chill, and then suddenly Father Murdoch gets a phone call. He changes, like he becomes serious and angry, like he's yelling on the phone. As soon as he hangs up, he points his gun at you. Father Murdoch says, "They found a tracker on your clothes." But before things could escalate, Tracy runs into the room saying, "He's here." Father Murdoch says, "Who?" A familiar voice says, "Me." And in comes Gabriel, and he's like, "Why are you pointing a gun at my associates?" Murdoch explains that they found the tracker. Tracy shows him, and Gabriel's like, "Okay, that teaches me to be more cautious." Just as Father Murdoch comes down, there's another emergency. The outfit is outside the church, so there's an ambush. That's the reason why Gabriel was there, because they found out that the outfit was gonna attack. Everyone goes on high alert. You can either choose to go with Gabriel and fight, or you can choose to help evacuating. If you go to the front, you meet Hain. So Hain is like Kaz, they are called Ramiels. Ramiel is your shoddy, your gun person. They are your intimidation. They are sharpshooters or heavy hitters. You have your Uriels, which is your lockpicker, hacker, safecracker. The Sariels are the drivers, or they can also be engineers to customize your vehicles. And of course, there's you, the Raphael, the leader of the team. The structure of the Archangels is basically the trio. You have Raquel, Gabriel, and Michael. Michael is the top leader. He makes the final decisions. Gabriel is the mastermind planner. Raquel is the medic and tech person. Raquel is technically not in a leader position because she doesn't really lead a group, but she has the same experiences as Michael and Gabriel, so the three of them are at the top. And then under them are the Raphaels, you and Kate and Joy. And then under the Raphaels, you have the Sariel, Uriel, and Ramiel. So you and Kaden would have one Sariel each, one Uriel each, one Ramiel each. So you meet Hain, firefight ensues. For the first time, you wear your Archangel mask, and you have this feeling of invincibility, like everything is possible. You manage to escape the church, the outfit are all defeated, but more are coming in, so you have to flee. So everyone gets into the cars and you leave for the mill. So the mill is an abandoned warehouse outside of Chicago, just outside the city proper. So you and the Archangels go to Gabriel's office, and since arriving in Chicago, you get a chance to just celebrate with the team. Gabriel makes a small welcome for you and Mouse. This is when you are introduced to the team. All the Archangels except Michael are in one place, so you get to, just talk to them and get to know them a bit. So Gabriel talks to you and Kaden, the Raphaels, and he basically tells you the Archangels' goal is to take down the Chicago outfit. They don't tell you why exactly, they just tell you that we have to take them out, we have to kill the Dawn if necessary. Gabriel doesn't tell you what exactly the plans are because he himself doesn't know yet. He just have vague ideas, but they're working on it. So while they're working on it, he sends you off, he tells you to talk to the crew so that you can decide who you're gonna choose. So let's start with the Ramiels. You have Anthony Kazton, aka Kaz, or Hain Lindell. Kaz is the brute. So he's big, he's tall, he's muscular. He was a professional boxer at one point. His family also has background in crime. They're a gang based in Sweden, basically, because their parents were part of that. He and his siblings were part of that too. His specialty is hitting things. He's a heavy hitter, but he prefers to talk it out first before using weapons or his fists. Hey Lindell, on the other hand, prefers to use her weapons first. She is an expert marksman. She was in the Canadian Special Police, something like that, but she was discharged for brutality against another cop. I think she beat up a cop or something like that. She has a tougher personality than Kaz, because Kaz is a sweet talker. Like, he is actually sweet despite his strength and build. Okay, so that's the Ramiels. We have the Sariels, which is Carlene Sarah and Charles Webley. So Carly is from Belgium. She also has a crime background. They're also a crime family, but recently they fell on hard times and Carly had to run away from Belgium. She is not the best driver. She's not a fast driver, but she is an expert at customizing car engines. And then Charles Webley, he is from Liverpool. He was born from that Welsh city with a really, really long name, but him and his sister, one of the Uriels, lived in Liverpool, and they escaped Liverpool and they're also in hiding. So Charlie was a race car driver, a professional race car driver at one point. Then he went to illegal racing. And then we have the Uriels. Annabelle Wopley, Charlie's older sister. She is a tools expert. She bomb expert. What do you call that? Something. she can make things explode, or she can use really, really high powered tools to get the job done. Basically, her job is loud and fast. And then the other Uriel is Justin Uemura. He is a hacker, lockpicker, tech guy. Personally, I love picking Justin. It's like just having a magic key. He can open anything. He is also a criminal. Yeah, they're all criminals actually. Either their families involved in crime or they themselves did some crime. Justin was involved with some shady business before and his partner got caught. Now he's low-key on the run because he messed with the wrong people, basically. So that's your team. Personally, I like to pick Kaz, Carly, and Justin. Like I mentioned, Justin is my MVP. Carly's not the best driver, but if you customize the cars, get away smooth. And then Kaz, I just find Kaz more charming than Hayne. That's why I pick him. But yeah, these three, they actually have a love triangle going on. There are hints of it when you hang out with your crew. If you hang out with Kaz, he mentions that he's interested in someone. He just met her recently, but she's really beautiful and he's interested. If you don't pursue Kaz, that point he would be talking about Carly. Kaz is straight, so you can only romance him playing as female. Justin is gay. Everyone else is bi or pan. Kaz, Justin, eventually Michael. That's in book 2 though. Those are the gender-locked romances. Michael is straight. Anyway, I played Breach maybe 4 or 5 times and I kind of end up picking similar options. I do that with other games as well, like Dragon Age and Baldur's Gate. I just tend to pick the same options with just small variations. But yeah, the dynamic of the three, they do have a love triangle going on. One is gay and then one is straight. Kaz is crushing on Carly. Carly is crushing on Justin. And Justin is crushing on Kaz. Very interesting dynamic. For the siblings, for Anna and Charlie, they ask you to keep them together. You can split them up. That's an option. From what I know, that would cause some character development if you split them up. Watch out, by the way, for the dialogue tree. While asking them their background, their skills, you can ask what they know about the trio. If you keep asking about the trio, you get disapproval points from the trio. Anyway, so you've talked to all of them, you've made your decision, you go see Caden. Caden drops you off at the park, Lincoln Park, I think that's the name of the park. It's nighttime, no one is there. There's a single lamppost on, there's a man tied to the post. And you look around trying to find Gabriel. Eventually you see 2 silhouettes at the top of like a hill. One is taller than the other and one is waving you forward. Your phone rings, it's Gabriel. Gabriel tells you to tape the phone to the tied man's ear, and then you go to the hill with Gabriel. Okay, so you see Gabriel there with another man. This other man is tall and bulky. He is wearing a 3-piece suit and he has a black mask with a gold fleur-de-lis. Gabriel introduces you to Michael. Short introductions are made before you can move on with the choosing of the crew. Gabriel interrupts to say, we need to interrogate this guy. So the way they interrogate this person is Gabriel talks to him through the phone because you tape the phone to the man's ear. If the man doesn't answer Gabriel's questions, Michael blindly shoots at the man. Eventually, the hostage tells you everything. He gives you several locations, and Gabriel says, "That's enough. That's our target." Once the interrogation is over, Gabriel takes Mouse with him to give you and Michael some private time to talk. Michael asks if you know the plan. You say no because Gabriel didn't tell you. Michael says, yeah, that's the way it should be. Basically, you'll only know what the trio wants you to know. You betray them. Michael will kill you and Mouse and then tie your dead bodies to a train that will drag you back to New York. He tries to intimidate you. Like, he's like 6'2", 6'4", 6'2". He's somewhere there. He's 6'2" or 6'4", and he is also like buff. So he looms over you and tries to intimidate you. You can choose to be intimidated, or you can say just a bit or not at all. If you choose not at all, he kind of approves and he says it would be interesting to have you around. Gabe and Mouse comes back. They ask you if you've made your choice. You say yes. And then you pick your Sariel, Uriel, Ramiel. Michael officially welcomes you to the Archangels and to Chicago. Okay, so that was the setup for Breach the Archangel Job. I talked about the overall ratings and introduced the characters, introduced the goals, and give a hint of what the overall plot is about. Unfortunately, this is where I'm going to stop the review, just when Michael welcomed you to the Archangels and to Chicago, because the plot diverges. There's a lot that happens in Breach, actually, and I just couldn't summarize it properly with all the variations, unfortunately. I did record the videos, but they are just too long to edit into one review video. As of right now, up to meeting with Michael, that's maybe an hour long already, and I still have like 4 clips to edit. So time-wise, it's not feasible. This was definitely like a trial and error thing because it's definitely different from my previous videos. Interactive fiction is very versatile. It's not linear, so I did not expect just how much I would have to talk about this summary just because of the diverging paths. But yeah, I think in the future I just keep it short and maybe do premise the review and then just introduce the setup and introduce the characters. I think that would be better. But yeah, so if you enjoy heist and campy adventure movies like Fast and Furious, Ocean's 11, Ocean's 8, the George Clooney one, and if you like maybe 6 Underground, if you like that sort of story, you might like Breach the Archangel Job. After this part meeting Michael, it definitely gets wilder. You get introduced to more characters, more quirky characters like Rook and Bishop. It's a fun, good time if you don't mind a bit of gore and violence and a bit of dark humor, maybe. So there's that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry for the delay. I know I missed maybe 2 weeks, 1 week of posting because of work and because of editing the video itself. It took a while, but it's finally here. So I hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.